I thought my daughter was pregnant, but the truth was even more insane. It started when I found the prenatal vitamins in her bathroom drawer. I wasn't snooping. The sink was clogged and I needed the plunger from under her cabinet. That's when I saw them. A full bottle tucked behind tampons and face wash. My daughter Violet was 19, home for winter break from state. She'd been acting strange for weeks. Baggy clothes, early bedtimes, refusing wine at Thanksgiving, which was unusual since we'd let her have one glass during holidays since she turned 18. The morning sickness excuse when she skipped breakfast. I'd written it off as college stress. Now everything clicked into place. I didn't confront her immediately. I wanted proof before having the conversation that would change both our lives. So I watched. Violet received packages almost daily. She'd grab them from the porch before I could see the labels, rushing them upstairs like contraband. Her phone became an extension of her hand. The secrecy was eating me alive. One afternoon while she was at the gym, I broke. I went into her room and opened her closet. What I found wasn't maternity clothes, it was bags. Shopping bags from expensive stores. Nordstrom, Sephora, Lululemon. Bags stuffed with receipts and empty boxes. All dated within the last 3 months. I started adding up the totals. $12,000. Maybe more. We weren't wealthy. I was a single mom working as a dental hygienist. I'd scraped together her college fund over 19 years, picking up extra shifts and skipping vacations. That fund was supposed to cover 4 years of tuition. When Violet came home, I had the receipts spread across the kitchen table. She froze in the doorway, gym bag sliding off her shoulder. Before she could speak, I held up the vitamin bottle. Tell me everything, right now. Her face crumbled. The vitamins aren't for... I exhaled, relief flooding through me for exactly 3 seconds before her next words registered. They're for Brendan's mom. She's 7 months pregnant and can't afford them. Who the hell is Brendan? My boyfriend. He's not enrolled this semester. He's working 2 jobs to help his family. His mom got pregnant at 43. Surprise, babe. His dad left when they're about to lose their... The shopping bags? I said slowly. All of it for them? Violet nodded. Brendan's mom needed a winter coat. His little sisters needed school supplies and clothes. They don't have anyone else. I love him, Mom. I couldn't just watch them suffer. You spent your college fund. Our college fund. She started crying. I'm sorry. I should have asked, but you would have said no. And they needed help now. I couldn't let them end up homeless. How much is left? Maybe 3,000. Enough for 1 semester if I'm lucky. The rage hit me then. Not at her kindness, but at the betrayal. The lies. The complete disregard for the sacrifices I'd made. Those vitamins cost $12 at Walmart. I said quietly. But you bought the expensive organic ones. Because his mom deserves the best, Violet whispered. I stood up, collecting the receipts. I need you to understand something. That money represented 19 years of my life. Every birthday gift I didn't buy myself. Every vacation we didn't take. Every dinner I ate ramen so you could have fresh groceries. And you gave it away to strangers without asking me. They're not strangers. I love Brendan. You've been dating him for what, 4 months? Try 11. Since January. You've never mentioned him. Violet's face hardened. Because I knew you'd be like this. You'd tell me I'm too young, that I'm throwing my life away. You'd make me choose between school and him. I'm not making you choose anything, I said. You already chose. You chose his family over your education, over your future. The look she gave me was pure teenage defiance mixed with something else, something that made my blood run cold. Actually, she said, her voice steady now, there's more you should know. She pulled out her phone and opened her banking app. I've been working 3 jobs since August. The coffee shop, tutoring, and overnight stock at Target. I wanted to replace the money before you noticed. I stared at the screen. Her account showed deposits and withdrawals going back months. Thousands of dollars moving in and out. But the balance was $247. Where did it all go? Brendan's family. She sat down across from me, suddenly looking exhausted. His mom, Patricia, she had complications with the pregnancy. She needed medicine insurance wouldn't cover. The electric company was going to shut off their power in October. His sisters. They're 12 and 14. They were wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. I felt something crack inside me. You're 19 years old, Violet. You're supposed to be studying and going to parties and figuring out who you are. Not playing savior to some guy's entire family. They're not some guy's family. They're going to be mine. What does that mean? She pulled something from her pocket. A small velvet box. When she opened it, I saw a simple silver ring with a tiny diamond chip. We got engaged in September. The room tilted. You what? I know what you're thinking, she said quickly. We're young. We haven't known each other long. But Mom, when his dad left, Brendan dropped out to work full-time. He's 23. He's more mature than any guy I've ever met. He takes care of his family. He's responsible and kind, and he let you spend your college fund on them. The words came out sharper than I intended, but I didn't care. This boy, this man, watched my 19-year-old daughter drain her entire future to solve his family's problems. He didn't know at first. When he found out, we had a huge fight. He wanted me to stop, but I couldn't. I reached across the table and grabbed her hand. Look at me. This is financial abuse. You understand that, right? He's using you. No, her voice went hard. You don't know him. You don't know what it's like to watch someone choose between groceries and electricity. His mom worked 2 jobs while pregnant until she went into early labor at the warehouse. She almost died. The baby, a little boy, he's in the NICU. The bills are... Stop. I couldn't hear anymore. My daughter's beautiful, naive heart was going to destroy her life. When's the wedding? June, right after finals. You'll be 20 years old with a husband, a stepson in diapers, 2 stepsisters, and a mother-in-law who just had a baby. No degree, no money, working 3 minimum wage jobs. Violet stood up. I thought you'd understand. You raised me alone. You sacrificed everything for me. I'm doing the same thing for the person I love. I raised you so you'd have choices I never had. I worked those extra shifts so you wouldn't have to. So you could be something more than a dental hygienist working herself to death. There's nothing wrong with being a dental hygienist. No, there isn't. But there's everything wrong with throwing away your education for a man you've known less than a year. She grabbed her phone and the ring box. I'm staying at Brendan's tonight. Like hell you are. I'm 19. You can't stop me. She was right. Legally, I couldn't. But as her mother, I had to try. If you walk out that door, I said quietly, don't bother coming back. Violet's eyes filled with tears. Fine. She left. I sat at the kitchen table surrounded by receipts until midnight, trying to figure out where I'd gone wrong. How had I raised a daughter who confused love with self-destruction? At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Brendan. Violet's really upset. Can we talk? Tomorrow at the diner on 5th Street. 10 a.m. I should have said no. Should have blocked the number and let my daughter learn her lesson the hard way. But I'd spent 19 years protecting her. Old habits die hard. I'll be there. The diner was the kind of place where truckers drank coffee and the syrup came in squeeze bottles. I arrived at 9:45 and ordered tea I wouldn't drink. Brendan showed up exactly at 10. He was taller than I expected, with dark hair and the kind of tired eyes you see on people twice his age. He slid into the booth across from me. Thanks for coming. Where's Violet? At my apartment. She cried herself to sleep around 4 a.m. Good. Maybe she's starting to think clearly. He flinched but didn't argue. Look, I know what you think of me. You don't know anything about what I think. You think I'm using your daughter. That I convinced her to spend her money on my family. You think I'm some loser who knocked up my mom and abandoned my education? Are you? For a long moment, he just looked at me. Then he pulled out his phone and opened a folder of photos. This is my mom before she got pregnant, working security at the mall, making $11 an hour. The woman in the photo looked worn down but was smiling. She wore a uniform that was slightly too big. He swiped. This is my dad the day he left. We got the pregnancy confirmed that morning. He was gone by dinner. The next photo showed an empty bedroom. Drawers pulled out, closet bare. This is my sister's on the first day of school. September. Notice anything? The two girls were young teens, standing awkwardly in jeans that were too short and shirts that had clearly been outgrown. They're wearing last year's clothes, I said quietly. Brendan nodded. I was taking 18 credit hours and working nights at a warehouse. I sent home every penny. It still wasn't enough. Mom went into early labor in October because she was lifting boxes at work. The baby came at 32 weeks. He showed me a photo of a tiny infant in a NICU incubator. Wires and tubes everywhere. Owen, he's 11 pounds now. Finally came home last week. I felt my resolve weakening. Where is all this leading? To this. He pulled out a folder of papers. Bank statements. Mine and Violet's. When I found out she'd spent her college fund, I tried to break up with her. Told her I couldn't be with someone who'd sacrifice her future for me. Know what she said? What? That I didn't get to decide what her future looked like? That helping the people she loves is the future she wants. He spread the papers across the table. See these deposits? These are from me. Every penny I could scrape together. I've been trying to pay her back. The amounts were small. 50 here, 100 there. In 4 months, he'd managed to return maybe $800. It'll take me years to pay back what she spent, he continued. I know that, but I'm going to do it. Every cent. And in the meantime, I'm going to support her going back to school. By working 2 jobs, 3 now. I picked up weekend shifts at a grocery store. Mom's mostly recovered. She's going back to work next month. The girls got scholarships to a better school district. We're stabilizing. And the wedding? We're postponing. He met my eyes directly. Violet doesn't know yet. I'm telling her tonight. She needs to finish her degree before we make that kind of commitment. I won't let her derail her life for me. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt suspicious. This was too convenient. Too perfect. Why are you telling me this instead of her? Because I need you to know I'm not using your daughter. And because I need your help. Here it comes, I thought. The real con. I'm trying to convince Violet to move back home, to commute to state and save money on room and board. But she won't do it because she thinks you hate her. Hate us. I don't hate her. I'm terrified for her. I get that. Brendan folded his hands on the table. My mom had me when she was 20. She gave up college to raise me. Then my dad convinced her to have 2 more kids. And by the time she wanted to go back to school, it was too late. I watched her work herself to exhaustion my whole life. I'm not doing that to Violet. The sincerity in his voice was hard to fake. I'd heard enough lies from deadbeat dads and smooth-talking boyfriends to recognize when someone was telling the truth. Okay, I said slowly. Let's say I believe you. What exactly are you asking me to do? Let her come home. Help her finish school. I'll stay away if that's what you want. I just need to know she's going to be okay. You'd break up with her? If it meant she graduated, yes. He said it without hesitation. That's when I knew he actually loved her. Real love isn't grand gestures and expensive gifts. It's being willing to walk away when that's what's best for the other person. I don't want you to break up, I said, but I need you to understand something. That college fund wasn't just money. It was 19 years of my life. My retirement savings, my emergency fund, everything I had went into making sure my daughter had a future. I know. And I'll spend the next 19 years paying you back if that's what it takes. I pulled out my own phone, opened my banking app, showed him my balance, $3,200. That's everything I have left in the world. If something happens to me tomorrow, that's all Violet would inherit. Brendan went pale. I didn't realize. Of course you didn't. You're 23 and you've never had anything to lose. But I'm 41 and I've lost everything I've spent 2 decades building. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't pay for college. Sorry doesn't fix the fact that my daughter will probably have to take out loans she'll be paying off until she's 50. Sorry doesn't change anything. So what do? We make a deal. I leaned forward. Violet comes home. No exceptions. She finishes her degree. You pay back what you can, when you can, and I won't charge interest. And in return, I'll help with your family. What does that mean? It means I'm a dental hygienist with connections. I can get your mom free dental work. I can talk to my dentist about hiring your sisters for summer jobs. I can connect you with social services that actually help instead of just taking applications. Why would you do that? Because despite everything, I raised my daughter to care about people. I'm not going to punish her for becoming exactly who I taught her to be. Brendan's eyes got wet. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. If Violet drops out, the deal's off. If you pressure her to get married before graduation, the deal's off. If I find out you're using her, I'll make sure you regret it. Understood. Good. Now go get my daughter and bring her home. He left cash for both our untouched drinks and practically ran out of the diner. I sat there for another 20 minutes, trying to reconcile the fact that I just agreed to help the family that had destroyed my financial security. When I got home, Violet was sitting on the porch steps with a duffel bag. Mom, I'm so sorry. I pulled her into a hug. We're going to figure this out. But you're living here, no arguments. Brendan told you his plan. He told me he loves you enough to let you go if that's what's best. That's more than most men twice his age would do. She pulled back, studying my face. You're not mad anymore? Oh, I'm furious. You lied to me for almost a year. You spent money that wasn't yours to spend. But I'm also incredibly proud of the person you've become, even if she terrifies me. I terrify myself sometimes. We went inside. Over tea, Violet told me everything. How she'd met Brendan at an off-campus study group. How his dad had left and his mother had cried at the kitchen table, 7 months pregnant with no savings. How Violet had started small, buying groceries, then gotten swept up in trying to fix everything. I thought I could solve it, she said quietly. I thought if I just worked hard enough, if I gave enough, everything would be okay. You can't save everyone, Violet. Sometimes love means letting people struggle so they can learn to save themselves. Is that what you're doing with me? Yes. She smiled, sad and knowing. Fair enough. The next few weeks were rough. Violet moved back home and started spring semester with a brutal class schedule, trying to make up for lost time. Brendan worked his 3 jobs and sent money every Friday. Small amounts but consistent. I reached out to Patricia, Brendan's mom. She came to my house on a Sunday afternoon, baby Owen sleeping in a carrier. I didn't know, were her first words. About the money. When I found out, I tried to make Violet stop. She wouldn't listen. She's stubborn, I said. Gets it from me. Patricia was younger than I expected, maybe 44, with gray in her dark hair and the exhausted look of someone who'd been running on empty for years. The girls, Trinity and Autumn, they're good kids, but they needed so much. School supplies, winter coats. I couldn't afford it on my salary, I get it. Being a single parent, it's impossible sometimes. Brendan said you might help with dental work. I made some calls, got her set up with free cleaning and fillings at my office. When Trinity mentioned wanting to be a hygienist, I arranged for her to shadow me at work. Slowly, against my better judgment, I started to care about these people. Patricia returned to work as a home health aide in March. The NICU bills were astronomical, even with Medicaid. I helped her apply for charity care at the hospital, shaving $8,000 off what she owed. Autumn got into art classes through a scholarship I helped her find. Trinity started researching dental hygiene programs. And Violet, she threw herself into school with a focus I'd never seen before. She made the dean's list that spring, started talking about graduate programs and social work. One evening in late April, Brendan came over for dinner. It was the first time I'd invited him to our house. He brought flowers and a folder of paperwork. What's this? I asked. A payment plan. He'd refinanced his car, negotiated his student loans, and created a 5-year plan to repay what Violet had spent. Every month without fail, I'll send you this amount. In 5 years, you'll have everything back plus a little extra for your trouble. The amount was reasonable. Painful for him, but manageable. You didn't have to do this. Yes, I did. You invested in Violet's future. I'm not going to let my family destroy that investment. Violet came downstairs and saw the paperwork. Brendan, this is too much. No, he said firmly. This is what love looks like. It's not grand romantic gestures. It's making a plan and sticking to it. It's sacrificing now so we can build something real later. I excused myself and cried in the kitchen. Not from sadness, but from the realization that maybe, just maybe, my daughter had found someone worthy of her enormous heart. Summer came. Violet took online classes and worked at the coffee shop. Brendan kept his 3 jobs. Patricia stabilized. Baby Owen hit his milestones. The girls thrived in their new school. In June, on what would have been their original wedding date, Brendan took Violet to dinner. When they came home, she was wearing the ring again. We're engaged, she announced, for real this time. But the wedding's not until after I graduate. 2 years, Brendan added. We'll both be in better financial shape. Mom will be back on her feet. The girls will be settled. I hugged them both. And you'll have paid me back at least half of what was spent. Actually, Brendan said about that. He handed me another folder. Inside was a check for $5,000. Patricia and I pooled our tax returns. We wanted to make a bigger dent in what we owe you. I tried to hand it back. This is too much. You need this money. No, Patricia said, appearing in the doorway with the girls and Owen. We need to repay our debts. You helped us when we were strangers. You got me medical care. You gave Trinity opportunities she never would have had. We're not taking charity anymore. Autumn stepped forward shyly. I made you something. She handed me a framed drawing. It showed Violet and me holding hands, with Patricia, Brendan, the girls, and baby Owen in the background. At the top, in careful calligraphy, it said, "Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's who shows up. I lost it completely then. Sobbing in my kitchen, surrounded by this chaotic, impossible family that had come together through crisis and stubbornness. That night, after everyone left, Violet and I sat on the porch drinking tea. "You were right to be angry," she said quietly. "I should have told you what I was doing. You should have. But I also should have listened when you tried to explain. I was so focused on the money that I missed what was really happening." "What was really happening? You were becoming the woman I raised you to be. Someone who sees suffering and can't look away. Someone who loves fiercely and completely." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'm still going to finish school. I know you will. And then you're going to marry that stubborn, hardworking man who's foolish enough to love you as much as you love him. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Marriage, his family, all of it. The hardest thing you'll ever do." I squeezed her hand. "But if you can survive spending your college fund and facing down your furious mother, you can survive anything." 2 years later, I stood in a small church watching my daughter marry Brendan. She wore a simple white dress we'd found on sale. The bridesmaids were Trinity and Autumn. Baby Owen toddled down the aisle as ring bearer, Patricia guiding him gently. The wedding cost $3,000 total. They'd saved for it themselves, refusing to let me contribute beyond the rehearsal dinner. In his vows, Brendan promised to support Violet's dreams, to never let her sacrifice her future for his comfort, to build a life worthy of the faith she'd shown in him. Violet promised to trust him, to communicate instead of hiding, to remember that love isn't about saving people, it's about walking beside them. I cried through the entire ceremony. At the reception, held in the church basement with potluck food and a Spotify playlist, Patricia found me. "Thank you," she said simply, "for giving us a chance, for seeing past the mess to who we were trying to become. Thank you for raising a son who loves my daughter the right way." We both turned to watch the newlyweds dancing. Brendan held Violet like she was the most precious thing in his world, because she was. The girls came over, Trinity now 16 and Autumn 14. "Is it true you're helping me apply to college?" Trinity asked shyly. "Full ride scholarship if I have anything to say about it." I'd been working with her for 6 months on applications. Autumn showed me her portfolio. I helped her apply to a summer art intensive at State. "You're studying social work, right?" she asked Violet. My daughter nodded. "I start my master's program in the fall." "Because of us?" Autumn's voice was small. "Because I learned that helping one family can change everything, for them and for you." Later, as the party wound down, Brendan pulled me aside. "The final payment," he said, handing me an envelope. "We're square now." I opened it. A check for the remaining balance, plus a little extra. Exactly 3 years and 2 months after Violet had started spending her college fund. "You did it. We did it. All of us." He glanced at Violet, laughing with her former professors who'd come to celebrate. "She saved us. You stabilized us. We rebuilt together. What happens now? Now we live our lives. Mom's training to be a nurse. Trinity's applying to college. Autumn got into that art program. Owen's healthy. Violet's pursuing her dream. And me, I'm applying to finish my degree part-time. And you two? We're going to make it. Not because it'll be easy, but because we've already survived the hard part." I hugged him. "Take care of my daughter. Every single day." That night, Violet came home to pack for her honeymoon. They were driving to a cabin in the mountains for a long weekend. All they could afford, but it was theirs. "Mom," she said, standing in her childhood bedroom one last time. "Thank you for not giving up on me. On us." I almost did. "When you walked out that night, I thought I'd lost you forever. You got me back. We got each other back." I pulled her close. "And we got a whole family in the bargain. Good families or messy families? The best kind, the ones you choose." She left at dawn with Brendan, his car packed with borrowed camping gear and snacks I'd insisted they take. I watched them drive away, my daughter and her husband, heading toward a future neither of them could have imagined 3 years ago. The house was quiet. I made tea and sat at the kitchen table where this had all started. The table where I'd confronted Violet about the receipts, where Brendan had shown me his payment plan, where Patricia had cried and thanked me. I thought about the college fund, now repaid in full. The money sat in my account, more than I'd started with thanks to their determination to pay me back with interest. I could retire early now. Maybe take that vacation I'd been putting off for 19 years. Instead, I opened my laptop and started researching scholarships. Trinity deserved help with college. Autumn needed supplies for art school. Owen would need childcare when Patricia went back to school for nursing. Somewhere along the way, Violet's chaotic chosen family had become mine too. My phone buzzed. A text from Violet. "Made it to the cabin. It's perfect. Thank you for everything, Mom. I love you." I typed back, "I love you too. Be happy." 3 words. Simple, but true. Because that's all I'd ever wanted for my daughter. Happiness. Not the easy kind that comes from avoiding hard choices, but the deep-earned kind that comes from sacrificing for people you love and having them love you back with equal ferocity. Violet had found that. Against all odds, despite every obstacle, she'd found it. And in the process, she'd taught me that sometimes the best investment isn't the one you plan carefully over 19 years. Sometimes, it's the one that terrifies you, the one that costs everything, the one that forces you to redefine what family means. I closed my laptop and looked around my empty house. Tomorrow, Patricia and the kids were coming over for Sunday dinner. Our tradition now. The house wouldn't be empty for long. Family never really was.